More working on the 1967. We're trying to pull these seats out because we're working on them and cleaning them. This one seems to work. Door just slammed on because of the wind. Very windy day here. I'm trying to figure out how these work. It was going. No, it's not. It was going forward and back, but now it's not. It seems like there's some kind of a solenoid clutch or something that engages here. Now I've got the car. I'm recoloring all the leather. This is Connolly leather. Have to be very careful with this door, dude. Connolly leather is basically painted leather, so we're repainting it. And also I'm flushing the radiator. I've got the thing running at a high idle, which I did by putting the screwdriver in, because I'm trying to get some heat going. I've got the drain open. I put some radiator flush in there to clean it out, but I'm also putting water in at the same time through this filter. So I'm just trying to flush the water out. You can see we're getting this rust out of the radiator, which this may also be that orange plume that we put in there. But either way, I'm flushing it out. I'm still seeing orange coming out of here. We're trying to disassemble the interior so we can color it, get it clean. Trying to get it hot, but it's not getting hot. Trying to get these seats out, figure out how they come out, and get all this super clean. We're going to super clean the car. Hippie's been polishing the chrome, or the stainless, I should say, the brickwork. Done a fantastic job. I want to share with you a trick that I've just learned. So this thing is a clay bar sponge. You sell to chemical guys, okay? And I found that this thing removes water spots like you wouldn't believe. I used this thing on the entire car. But we had these water spots. I don't know if I got something chrome on it. Get some spots on it. Let's see here. I'm gonna try it out. Well, it's just done such a great job of cleaning up. But anyway, if you've got chrome or water spots, use this thing. It's amazing. Just rubs them right off. Cleans it up. I'm gonna let this thing continue to flush. Seems to be doing a good job. See the water coming out of there. And here's the issue that I'm having. See that stream on the right is the drain. That stream on the left is the overflow. So the problem that I'm having here is that the overflow it shouldn't be open because it's not even hot. I think this thing here controls the overflow. I need to take that out and see what's up with it. I think it's not working properly. But the car's not even hot. I mean, you can see the tank is full. I'm putting fresh cold water in while it's running. You know, see, it's like, I don't know. These pieces are just drying here. These are armrests, obviously. So yeah, I just used this fabric and vinyl paint. I've used this many times on a lot of different cars. What you do is you clean the surface with alcohol. So I just use alcohol to clean them really well. And I'm using the flat black, and I mean, look how good this looks. It looks fantastic. You know, look at that. It looks like brand new. So I've painted all these panels and all the pieces, and I'm gonna do the same to the seat backs, not the seat areas where you sit, but just the areas where you don't really, you know, because you don't really touch this, you know. You're not touching that a lot. It's just there. But if you saw, you know, as I was cleaning this with alcohol, the color was just coming right off. Now, the thought has occurred to me to completely recolor the Corniche interior. That's something that Gary Mavers wanted to do. He wanted to bring some of his paint materials that he's used and just go ahead and repaint the whole thing, do them black, which I'm considering. We'd have to remove all these parts. I think the hardest parts to do would be on these door panels, these little wonky, these things here, you know, but they could be painted and you could just get up in there. This is going to be a separate panel on the back side. I would like to redo some of the interior and the speaker. It's kind of recessed. Some of the later models of the Corniche, they put a little bar in there. That's what you need. Ready to grab alcohol and glasses and in the door. So, you know, I'm keen to just leave it this beige color. I hate the color beige more than, I mean, I don't know. But the amount of work, the seats aren't so bad, but, you know, getting this dash and console, you have to take everything out and everything apart. Taking these doors apart are incredibly complicated. So I'm just like, you know, maybe I'll just leave this shit beige. I mean, and there's a lot of people arguing to keep the wood colored, not paint it black. I'm gonna experiment with a couple pieces of wood and see how they look. I'm talking to a company out of LA that sells headliner, the padding for the headliner, and also the boot cover. It's about $1,500 for all of those three things. And so I'm gonna order those. Gary wants to do a thing where he comes back and visits and stays for a couple of weeks and works on the car. We're trying to work that out logistically, financially, because that's a huge undertaking. And because he has to come from Liverpool, I told him, you know, we want to make sure that we have everything that we're going to need. I'm going to have every single rubber thing for the car. So all the rubber seals, all that rubber has to come. Any rebuild kits for all of the brakes, suspension, all that kind of stuff. Because we're going to have to just have everything here in order for him to do the work. And you've seen on his channel, if you've watched Classic Obsession with Gary Mavers, where he's taken the wood and made the wood and, you know, completely redone the top. And he's really concerned about doing the top. And everybody says that I'm half-assing it because I don't really care about the top that much, because my whole point of this car is I want to use it as a convertible. It would stay parked indoors with the top down, with the parade boot on it. And when I want to take it out, I would take it out as a convertible. So I probably wouldn't use the windows other than on the highway. I wouldn't use the top. Probably won't be using the heat and air conditioning, because I would only take it out when it's nice. And people just are like, oh, you're half-assing the car, you're not paying attention. But I don't want to spend fucking $50,000 on the car. Do you guys understand how much money and time it costs to do this? I'm going to have to sell a couple other cars just to pay for that. And I'm not going to daily drive this car. I already have 20 cars. I already have a Rolls-Royce Phantom. I already have a Silver Shadow hardtop. I have a Knight Rider. I have a DeLorean. I have this Lamborghini thing over here. I have the Ferrari Testarossa thing. I have the Porsche 924. I have my pickup truck. I have my Maserati. I'm not bragging. Everybody goes, oh, you brag all the time. Oh, you're flexing. I'm not flexing. I'm just explaining to the situation and how I get to have all these cars without being some kind of gazillionaire, is that I do things cheap on a budget, right? So I got this car for like 15 grand. If I can put 10 or 15 in it and have less than 30 in the car, that way I'm not crazy at a budget. But if I go spending $50,000, $60,000 on ownership of the car, I could have just went and bought one, which I would never do, because I'm not going to spend that much money to have one of these. Same thing with this Lamborghini thing here. You know, it's not a real Countach. I'm not going to spend $500,000 on a Countach. That would be stupid. So I have this thing that I bought for like 20 grand. And I put a bunch of time and money and effort to it, so I obviously have a lot more money into it. But I got the top off of it. I got a battery charger on it, which is why the wing is up. And it takes me 2 seconds to open the door, turn it on, drive it out, and enjoy it like that and take it to the car show. And I'm going to put a car cover on it. I just ordered a custom cover for it. So it's not that I'm being cheap, but it's one of these things like, okay, I can, you know, I had a viewer of mine reach out to me and he goes, yeah, I have this Rolls-Royce and I've spent $100,000 on trying to fix it up. What a fool. Because the whole car that he has is worth 30, 40 grand. So the thing is like, when people watch this channel, they go, Bob, how do you have all these cool cars? It's because I've learned how to do these things on a budget. And you got to focus on the things that really matter. What really matters on one of these cars? Does it overheat? Does it stop? Does it go? And I've already gone down the rabbit hole with this 67 Silver Shadow because, gosh darn it, I'm already upside down in it. I've already spent more money than it's worth. It's the cardinal sin mistake that you make on these cars, and I've broken my own rules. And now I got a car that costs me more than I can get for the car. Stupid.
Back to the seat. I was just looking at, so what there is in here is a electromechanical, dare I say, clutch, but it moves up and down. So when you engage it, you're supposed to pull that thing down and it will engage a tooth that will bite down. Because over here I had to I pulled the cover off and pressed that thing down manually, and it would engage. And they overcomplicate every single thing in the. It's like that's what they do with the Rolls-Royce. Like every other seat would just have a thing and then just have a stop, you know, like a micro switch. They would shut it off or something. Not these mother effers.
This one's out.
They got to make it hard. Well, don't forget you got to unplug it.
Yeah.
So Hippie discovered that there's a hole here that's designed to let you get down.
So we didn't get this. We didn't get this one forward yet.
Well, it might work. There you go. So, and I think these are the same motors that go in the windows. But this little thing here, I'll pop the cover off. You can see that this is just some kind of mechanical clutch that engages. I need them. So I took this fucking wind. Anyway, this is a debacle. So I got this thing off here, and apparently this is a spring-loaded thermostat. Is what this is. There's all the parts and pieces. That is supposed to, through temperature, operate the overflow. But what's happening is it's open all the time. So as soon as my car builds up any pressure, it's letting the fluid out of the overflow. So temporarily, what I could do is cap off the overflow. That would be bad though. But I need another one of these, just as I suspected all along. Okay, I got the car completely gutted. All the upholstery out. That's a look at the seat base. Hippie did a great job vacuuming it out. Still got the door panels off. And we're gonna be pulling all this wood, get it cleared. We've already done some great clearing on some of this. Been recoloring this upholstery. Fantastic job on this. I mean, nice black, nice flat black. I mean, it looks like new. So it's really, the key is really preparing the surface. Wipe it down with alcohol, make sure all the creams and everything are removed, let it dry, paint it with the leather paint, let that dry, sand and repair any areas that need to be. It's coming along well. Getting all this wood nice and cleared. I gotta wet sand this to get any of these marks and bubbles out. I'm happy with the way like these tray tables have come out. I mean, they're just super wet and glossy looking. I got these little gold leaf RRs that we placed in there. Something that I've added, I thought was a nice touch. So after we do a nice wet sanding and everything to it, it'll be nice and clear. Just a nice triple thick urethane. I still got to do these other seat bottoms, get this wood back together. But I mean, you could see where I've already painted this area. And it's a fantastic process. This, you know, Gary Mavericks does that to his, where you can do this painting process. The key is really cleaning the leather. Once you clean it, it makes a huge difference. See, this is the seat bottom. You can see how rough this is. So we're gonna clean this, sand these other areas down, and then once this is repainted, it will look like new. It really will. Just like you could see how rough this center console piece is, you know, where the color has just rubbed off. Again, getting it clean. Now on the corniche, these are parts that go to this overshadow. These have already been painted. You can see that they just look like new again. This is the dash on the corniche. Now, I talked about painting it black. This is a wood stain, and this is going to be a whole other process. This has to be sanded off or sanded down. This wood stain, you can kind of see the wood under it, but it's a little too dark. So my plan is to wet sand this down. It's gonna make it a little darker. I've used markers to fill in some of the other areas that were raw wood. I'm gonna try to save this in the wood color. I'm gonna try. I mean, when you look at, I got, this place is such a mess, but you know, you can see how this, you can see the wood grain still through here, but this is, it's way too dark. So we're gonna sand this down, get back to the veneer. I got all this Knight Rider stuff I'm trying to get boxed up and shipped to my Texas location because we're working on Knight Rider stuff for a client. This is a dash that I'm building for a Knight Rider thing. I'm only mentioning it because people are gonna see it in the background. They're gonna go, what's all this Knight Rider stuff? And so there's a lot of projects going on at the Bob's Prop Shop, Vegas, and in Dallas. So, but anyway, you can see, like, look how good this leather is. And it's soft, it's pliable, you know? It's soft. I mean, look at that. Now these were pretty rough. I mean, this one over here, this is a armrest. I mean, you can see the level of destruction on this level, you know. So, I mean, this can kind of be saved, but it's pretty hard. It's not going to be as new and nice as like these rear ones. These were well shielded from the light and not used as much as the fronts. But you can still, you know, use them. I mean, these aren't easy to come by, all right? So yeah, they might be cracked and whatever, but what are you going to do? Okay, getting the interior back in here. It's looking very good. Very windy day. This is actually, you know, this video actually spans over more than a week or two. I don't know. I'll have to count up the days, but we finally got all the wood out in the top of the dash. I realized this bottom part is like one piece. It doesn't come off. We learned a lot of things about the car. Got the seats back in. They're looking very nice, as you can see here. The wood is going to look fantastic. I cleaned all of this. I was going to have to replace all the bulbs, I thought, but turns out they were just dirty. Right? They ground to the actual gauge, which is grounded. So using the deox set, I cleaned each of the bulbs and I got them working. It's too bright to check them right now, but they're all working. And painting the other wood. So, you know, it's coming together really nice. I'm really happy. And the clock is working. Look at that. Look at my time. Look at that. The clock. By simply taking the clock out and just spraying this deoxit down into it and just kind of wishing it around a bit and tapping on it a few times, it started ticking. And it's keeping time. Keeping perfect time. How about that? So this wood, I lightly sanded it and just cleared it. I put the gold RRs on there. Anyway, you have to do a bunch of layers of this stuff. It fills in the cracks, it'll puddle, it'll dimple, and then you can wet sand it again. But once it's nice and glossy, it just makes the world of difference. So you give it 4 or 5 hours between coats, something like that. And you're supposed to put like 6 layers of it or something, but you got to keep doing it until you can't see these little wrinkles anymore. I don't know if the camera can pick it up the way my eyes can, but you just keep doing it till it just puddles. Basically, it puddles, fills in the gaps, and it'll be smooth as glass. It's still not perfect. Like, it's not a perfect re-veneering. I know there's a lot of wood guys out there that are, oh, Bob, you've messed this all up. You know, it's not done correctly. Whatever. It looked like dog shit before, and it's going to look like less dog shit. Honestly, I'm quite happy with the way this turned out. I mean, this looks so nice compared to the way it did. It's nice and shiny. You know, I mean, I didn't re-veneer it. I put the little, I think the little RRs look nice. They're subtle. They just kind of blend in a bit. Can enjoy your Grey Poupon. This little ashtray is kind of hard to operate. There it goes. Different time and place. But I mean, you could see your reflection. I'm just talking about the cigarettes. Like, there was a time that just everybody smoked. It just was the way it was. you know. But I'm happy with how this came out. I mean, I didn't have to do a lot of work on it. Lightly sanded it and just cleared it. And a lot of times, that's just all it needs. It just needs some clear, you know. And for the people out there who like the patina, it still looks like it's got a little age on it. It's a 1967 Silver Shadow, you know. But all the black is black, all the wood is wood, you know. Wonderful. I'm happy with it. It's gonna be nice. I like the dash just black. I'm so happy though that the clock is keeping time. Look at that. That sumbitch is keeping time. I had to come out here and check on how these lights look in the dark. So let's see how they look. All right, not that great. I mean, I wish they were a little brighter than that. Pretty dim, but I mean, I guess you could see them. It's funny how there's this panel dimmer, you know, like if you really want it dim. So that's as bright as they go. Had the battery disconnected while it was sitting here, just so I could, let's see, where did I put the key? Took the key out. Where did I put it? Well, here it is. It's all finished. This video series has gone over the course of a couple of weeks, and we've been recording the ongoings on our live channel. There's a link in the description where you can watch the live work that was going on. And here's the interior all put back together. Door panels put back on. New carpets I got from Lloyd Mats. It's unsponsored, but I get all my mats from them, Lloyd Mats. Dash all put back together. Panels on, seats all put back in. Everything working. Had these, you know, here's the RRs as shown before. Car runs great. Sorry. We'll take a look at the back here. The door panels put back in. Footrests put in. Tray tables. Amazing craftsmanship in this woodworking. But I love the addition of the little RRs. I thought they were great. I don't know, what do you think? How do you think the wood looks? Headliner looks amazing in this car. So this car is going to go up for sale, as I've mentioned. My goal is to get $25,000 for the car because that's just what I have in it. That would put me at a break-even point. And, you know, a lot of people would probably argue, they'd say, oh, well, you know, you can buy these for like 10 grand. That's true. You can buy these cars for $10,000, but they're not going to work. Nothing's going to work on the car. Besides that trunk, boy, you could fit a couple of people in there. That's a big, big trunk. But to get this thing all sorted where the windows work, they all go up and down, you know, pretty much everything works. Not everything, but the main stuff. There's a few little things that I still need to tweak. But stereo plays well. Wood came out nice. Car runs well. It's just a great car. I'll be doing a really detailed video on the for sale version of this car. The steering wheel is impeccable. Not a crack on it, just great condition. Car fires right up. Air conditioning conditions the air, and it's fantastic. Like I said, we're not going to do a full video on the car. That little red light you saw, was indicating your the two brake reservoirs, and you know, you just got to give it a little rev. That gauge always sticks. Give it a little tap, it works. This is what it is to have a 1967 car. But oh, I got to turn the fan on. That's what it is. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's cold. That is ice cold. Turn it down. I'm not exaggerating. When I do the for sale video, what I'll do is I'll put a thermometer here and we'll test the temperature, because how do you know, right? How can I prove it? But when you turn this off and you shine a light in there, you can see the valves and everything moving, all that stuff's moving. You know, the original radio, I think if you hooked it up, would probably work, but it's been replaced with this slightly more modern, and I say very slightly, plays, I mean, it works, so I just left it in there, but may change it just for aesthetics, because it's an older Kenwood tape deck, which is also a CD controller. There's actually a 6-disc CD changer under there. I thought about ripping it out, you know, but it works. I mean, I'll just leave it in there. We got the seat moving. To be able to do that is just a big deal. You know, to be able to get a car, one of these cars, just to get, you know, to make that window do that. Let's see, which one is the back? Is it that one? Yeah. You know, it's just a feat. It is really a feat to get these to do that. It's a big deal. Anybody who's ever worked with one of these cars would be like, oh wow, the window goes up and down, really? Yeah. So it needs an exhaust patch. This clock works. Like, you know, it works. I mean, I'm gonna be sad to see this car go, but you know, what a vehicle. I'm really happy with how our work came out on it. So this part of the video is done. Like I said, I'm going to do one of my detailed for sale videos that I do. We'll do a full walk around, show everything work, and I'll do the Doug DeMuro style of quirks and features and show everything on it work. But if you see this video and you would like the car, I want $25,000 cash for it. You can pick it up here in Las Vegas. You can come here and see it, take it for a drive. The title is still in the original owner's name of Nancy B. Hammond. She was the famous wealthy woman who owned it. The 1968 plates are still on this car. This hemisphere, that was the World's Fair. That plate has been on the car since new. How about that? This car, she was a good friend of Larry Hagman, the star of Dallas. Larry Hagman was known to drive around Dallas, Texas in this car. He wrote about it in his book. She wrote about it in her book. I bought it at South Fork Ranch, famously, at an auction. Larry Hagman didn't own it, but he was known to be seen in it. She would loan it to him, and he would love driving it around. So it's an infamous Dallas car. I think it should go back to Dallas. And you know, like I might be going back to Dallas in that truck and trailer. So if a Dallas buyer were to buy it or somewhere in between, I may be able to personally deliver it. So that's some information about it. So if you reach out to me directly here on YouTube or go to any of my social medias, go to Videobob Moseley on Facebook, send me a message. If you're interested in the car. So $25,000 cash buys it. That's what I need for the car. I mean, the amount of work that's been put into it, you know, the hydraulic system been rebuilt, the air conditioning system completely replaced, the entire interior removed, recolored, put back in. Car runs and drives. I've spent almost $4,000 redoing all the windows and motors and all that stuff. That stuff's expensive and it's difficult. So if you go buy one of these cars, 10, 15 grand, you're gonna have to do everything to it, unless you get incredibly lucky. But there is no such thing, because if you find one of these that's a quote barn find, it's been sitting around for years, doesn't matter the mileage,
not only are you going to spend $10,000 or $15,000 just to get it up to par, good luck finding somebody to do it. That's the thing that we've talked about the most on this channel and about this car and about these cars. There's nobody out there that'll work on them. Now there's a few. They're coming out there. There's a few out there. So it depends on who and where you are. If you buy this car here locally in Vegas, you'll have somebody. But anyway, I hope this concludes the video, this part of the video for my 1967 Silver Shadow, owned famously by Nancy B. Hammond. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the other video coming soon. Thanks, guys.